Dear colleagues, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me thank you for this unique opportunity to address all of you at ALDE Party Congress. I am happy to be here in front of you 1 year on. It is always a pleasure to catch up, do a bit of stock taking, and especially exchange views on topical issues of today, and especially on where we go from here on. This year is not an easy time for EU, and we all have to face tough challenges. Continuous migration flows, modest economic recovery, and general distrust of institutions are the most pressing ones. The EU, as well as ALDE, must get down to the ground and answer our citizens' concerns while keeping its ideals and principles. We are preparing for an uncertain future. Results of the US presidential election and referendum in the UK are symptoms of the deep dissatisfaction of citizens with the current state of public affairs. Decision of more than 17 million UK people made me sad, but I understand why so many voted for leaving. The EU must learn a lesson, become more efficient, and stop disappointing its citizens as soon as possible. The next couple of years will not be easy either for EU or for the UK, and we must get prepared for the new situation. There is a general distrust of European Union not only in the UK. It is closely related to the efficiency of the EU institutions that is nowadays hampered by this excessive bureaucracy and limited readiness for action. On the other hand, opinions polls after Brexit show that support for leaving the EU has decreased in remaining member states. I expect that halfway through its mandate, the European Parliament should make a deep reflection and increase its legitimacy as the only democratic elected EU institution. It means to me that we need to get right fundamentals of the EU very quickly to meet the expectation and concentrate on the original goals of the EU that are correct and worth for fighting for. I often describe an efficient European Union as an Asterix village from the famous French cartoon. Inside, everything is functioning smoothly with all benefits of the free movement of goods, services, person and capital, no discrimination and barriers. At the borders, the protection must be very strong and consistent against all the outsiders, and having clear rules for external relations backed by courage and support of citizens. Asterix village cannot just allow inside anybody fishing for a better life. It is not big enough for that. Asterix village should be open for those who are prepared to contribute to the common welfare and should be able to choose its inhabitants accordingly. I mentioned many times, I will repeat it again, that we have to solve the causes of migration crisis and not to concentrate on its consequences. We want to face effectively illegal migration and tackling in a complex way people fleeing from war. Better cooperation with the third countries is essential. The EU needs strong leaders and representatives who will endeavor and negotiate fair and functional deals with the key external partners. The EU-Turkey cooperation, for example, has already brought some tangible results, but we need more with NATO, United States, and even Russia. It is not true that Czech Republic doesn't want to participate in resolving the migration crisis. The Czech Republic provides human resources as well as the material and financial aid. At this moment, 110 Czech policemen are deployed in 5 EU countries. 21 experts are working in hotspots. So far, we have provided more than 20 million euro to help displaced refugees in the third countries, and we are ready to do more. Within the EU, we must concentrate on vital issues such as the fight against organized crime and terrorism, preventing illegal migration, ensuring the internal and external security, and supporting the economic growth of both EU and its member states. Unfortunately, priorities and solutions chosen and pursued by EU, by the European Commission with the almost 33,000 officials are not always backed by member state full support. A sad example of EU inefficiency is my experience concerning the VAT fraud. I am literally obsessed with the better tax collection and fight against the tax fraud. So far, I have implemented a number of measures in my country, and I increased the total tax collection in the Czech Republic by more than 11.8 billion of euro between 2013 and 16. And that's why this year the Czech Republic will have a surplus of the budget, at least 1 billion euro, and I will decrease the debt nominally by 1.5 billion euro. And yesterday we started a huge project which I got from Croatia, this online cashier system. All restaurants from yesterday and hotels are online connected with the tax administration. In fact, I introduced all the measures I could have even thought about, but one. The one is so-called reverse charge mechanism. Everybody knows me at ECOFIN, that I am Mr. Reverse Charge. And it is considered one of the most effective tools against the VAT fraud. Unfortunately, the EU legislation limits the space for using reverse charge mechanism. Since the beginning of my participation in the ECOFIN Council, I have been fighting for the wider use of this tool. It is now more than 2.5 years, 2.5 years, and the result is that I have only pending promise of the Commission. This is a very clear example of EU inefficiency. We have a problem, we know the solution, but we are completely unable to act because Mr. Moscovici don't want this pilot project. And reverse charge is not just one out of many examples. We need to listen to people and to individual member states and deliver on better functioning also of internal market. So let me to conclude, if we don't remove the bureaucratic obstacles, if we do not act decisively in the important areas that touch the interests of our citizens, and if the member states themselves and their needs are not respected, we may soon be confronted with the deep disintegration of the EU. If we don't get fundamentals right, we will never get closer to Asterix village, fully supported by its proud citizens. Thank you.